Hi everyone. My name is Ricky Sundrani. I'm a vice president with the pricing assurance team at Everest Group. Lead some of our work on the cloud, infrastructure, and cybersecurity price and solution benchmarking. And today, over the last few months, we've been doing a lot of research around containers and cloud native. So, a key question that comes up is a lot of enterprises are looking to move to cloud native, and a key component of that is really the whole containers and Kubernetes aspect, right? So, Vinamra and I were trying to do some more research around what are really containers and how do you solution for them, and what in the context of outsourcing services, how do you price for container services? So I invited Vinamra, who's a fellow colleague of mine and researches in the area of cloud, to help me throw some more light on what really are containers first.
Thanks, Ricky, for inviting me. Before getting into the discussion, let me give a very short introduction about myself. I am Vinamra Shukla. I'm practice director with the firm, and I lead pricing and solution engagement across some of the new topics such as containers, cloud, and cybersecurity. So let me start with basic definition of container. A container is a standard package of software which bundles application along with all its dependencies such as configuration files, binaries, providing a lightweight infrastructure for application deployment. Unlike a virtual machines, container virtualizes at the operating system level, and multiple containers can run on the top of operating system kernel directly. Uh, if you talk about the popular technology, Docker is one of the most prominent platforms used for creating container images.
And then we've also heard of Kubernetes being used in conjunction with containers. And I know Kubernetes was an open source project from Google. So how does it relate to the concept of containers, or are these two terms used interchangeably?
Yes, I think that's a very interesting topic. Kubernetes is the orchestration platform. Let me put my perspective on orchestration platform first. So container orchestration platform, it automates the management of containers. It enables some of the tasks such as container provisioning, configuration, resource allocation, scheduling, scaling with other resources. Uh, Kubernetes is the open source container orchestration platform. In fact, many of the enterprise solutions such as Red Hat OpenShift or HP Admiral, they have Kubernetes as their orchestration platform.
Now, coming to the question on which we as a team are really focused on, right? In the context of outsourcing services, for example, in the traditional world, we had price per VM or price per TB of storage and things like that. It was relatively straightforward and easy. However, because the whole concept of container, because it's an ephemeral unit, how do you really solution and size for managing containers?
Right. I think that's a very relevant topic, both from the service provider and enterprises standpoint. We often heard these conversation when we get into the discussion with enterprises or service providers. So in our assessment, we found that the per cluster, which is the set of master and worker node, is the most common pricing metric from the managed services standpoint. In the initial years, we used to have the other pricing metrics such as per pod, per container, but that are difficult to estimate as containers are ephemeral and transient in the nature. To have more robust and consistent way of quantifying the effort, market realized that per cluster is the most appropriate pricing metric. And this works across both the scenarios, public cloud solution or the private cloud solution. However, the actual effort would tend to vary between both the scenarios due to the ownership of master node configuration and the support.
So essentially, you're saying is that this per cluster pricing could work even in a Red Hat OpenShift based solution, or it could even work in a public cloud Kubernetes solution like a AKS or a EKS or GKE.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
that's
got it.
right.
Thanks, Vinamra, for these insights. I think very useful, and we'll keep a track of how this market evolves and how we see managed container services being sold in the market in the context of outsourcing services over the next few years. Thank
Sure,
you.
Ricky. Sure. Thank you.